The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation promotes, preserves, and perpetuates music, culture, and heritage through programs, cultural, educational, and economic activities year-round. Learn more at jazzandheritage.org. This program is brought to you in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support education, the arts, and culture in the greater New Orleans area. The Chicory House Bistro at the Rink offers breakfast and lunch daily. And now a new bar upstairs inside the Garden District Bookshop, 2727 Britannia Street at Washington Avenue. Learn more at therinknola.com. Steppin Out is made possible in part by Susie and Pierre G. Villery.
Whether it's the latest museum exhibit, the newest restaurant, or the current hot play,
we appreciate the weekly updates on the arts, music, and entertainment. Let's step out.
I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, with updates from the local restaurant, arts, and entertainment scenes. Joining me, Poppy Tooker, host of Louisiana Eats on WWNO Radio. Hey, Miss Poppy.
Hello, Peg.
And making her Steppin Out debut, Denise Frazier, programming director for Prospect New Orleans, a citywide contemporary art exhibition festival that takes place every 3 years. Welcome to our program. Hello, dear. Hello. Hi. And actor, musician, musical director, Michael Paternostro, who is starring as famed pianist, raconteur, Oscar Levant, opening tonight at Liberty Theater. Welcome, welcome. Hello.
Thank you for having me.
And Alice Mason is off this week. Poppy, king cake season.
Oh, it's the most wonderful time. You know that, Peggy. And, you know, I just want to say, I've got my regalia on. I've even got my, you have one of these Rex scarves,
I
don't
treasure
you?
it, yes.
Well, you know, if anybody who doesn't have it, that Commander's Palace scarf that my cousin Tim Traplin did is very reminiscent. But anyway, this is the highly sought after limited edition Rex. But we got some serious king cakes because we're going to just gain about 18 million pounds. Mardi Gras is so late. And so let's see what we've got first, okay? First, look at the pink box, you know, that iconic pink box. And what's inside? Ooh. Oh, dear God. From Brennan's, the Brennan's family did king cakes for the first time during the pandemic.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Just
Yeah. This is the bananas.
It sparkles.
It's gorgeous.
Oh my gosh,
it's the
and there's the little
bananas
king cake
foster.
baby.
It's the banana.
Upside
Of
down
course
there.
there's
I
a
love
king
it.
cake baby, but this is the bananas Foster king cake, okay? Wasn't that just a no-brainer for the Brennan's family to turn bananas Foster in? But there's also almond. There's the first one they did several years ago, which is Pink Parade, and that's a strawberry flavor. We're just going to put them right over here to make everyone
It's a busy
envious.
table. Yes.
And then there's also, of course, a traditional one, and they're available from Brennan's and all over town. Now, this is the big king cake scoop of the year. Our beloved friends, the Ramseys at Hubig's Pies, they finally did a king cake. Now, what I want to point out about these king cakes, this is the custard cake. Ooh. Now, Peg, remember Hubig's Pies used to actually make real pies, like round pies.
Yes.
Not just hand pies. And so this custard, and then another one of their flavors.
So let's tilt it a little bit. Yeah.
Which is, they also have a Dutch apple. Custard and Dutch apple were only previously available by the round pie before Hurricane Katrina. Okay. So this is a real big deal. And there are Bromarts, Consecas, Dorgnac's, Roberts, and on the North Shore they're at a Quiz de Pace, Piggly Wiggly, and that's in Mandeville, and Cash Saver in Slidell. Now that we've got yours, now that we got you hungry for king cake, the place to go, of course, is King Cake Hub. Because they are open again right over there in the brewery on Broad Street, on
Zony
South
Mash.
Broad. Yes, they're back at
Zony
Zony
Mash.
Mash, 8 a.m. till 6 p.m., 7 days a week. There are literally hundreds of cakes there to choose from every day. 60-plus bakeries making multiple kinds. There's giftware. There's king cake everything at King Cake Hub. And so all I can tell you is go there, you'll be surprised. There's even king cake lollipops.
Okay.
So don't miss the King Cake Hub. Bravo to them.
And we should point out that's right near the Sewage and Water Board treatment
Of course
plant, right
we need-
there
we're
in the
from
middle
New
of, on the
Orleans.
neutral ground, as we say. Look at this with the pink stripes.
Isn't that beautiful? I'm
Ooh,
telling you,
isn't that pretty?
if you want to go to King Cake
Oh, there's your
Heaven,
lollipops. There's your lollipops.
yeah. So if you want to go to King Cake Heaven, just go to King Cake
And
Hub.
we should also point out that this is being run by Samuels.
Jennifer Samuels, who is Will's widow.
Who we miss very much, Will.
Such a brilliant man. Now, New Year's Day, there's no denying that we had a tragedy in New Orleans on Bourbon Street.
Very much.
And what do we do in New Orleans when we have tragedy? Tragedy meets hospitality. And we just do our best to turn things around. And so the Louisiana Restaurant Association, in conjunction with all of the affected food and drink businesses, are holding such a wonderful thing. From January 13th until the 19th, there are the restaurants that were affected, and I'll give you some of them. 100% of the proceeds of the sales of some of their most iconic dishes are going to benefit the Greater New Orleans New Year's Tragedy Fund. So we are talking Redfish Grills, wood grilled redfish, Bourbon House's charbroiled oysters, Palace Cafe's crab meat cheesecake, the iconic lobster dumplings from G.W. Finn's, pecan bread pudding at Antoine's, Restaurant Revolution scallop yakame. You can go and have a French 75 at Arnaud's restaurant, and 100% of those French 75s. So anyway, for a full list of participants, go to lra.org/tragedy. And I encourage everybody to do one of the most fun things. Do a dine around. Have a little lobster dumpling. Have a little crab cheesecake. Go out and walk the streets of the French Quarter, because we need you down there more than ever.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Peg.
And Denise, going around the town, because every 3 years we have this wonderful gift called Prospect. Yes. And you have been busy along with the rest of your staff. We're unfortunately, with the time that we have allotted, we're going to have to give a taste. But this wonderful public art exhibit all around town, we have a list that you have selected. We're going to go through them. But first, give us a quickie overview as to what this is exactly.
So Prospect is a triennial that started a little bit after Katrina in 2007 to really bring back art and culture in the city, and visual arts more specifically, because we know that our culture has always been there, even despite the tragedy of Hurricane Katrina. But this gives the opportunity for us to also enjoy artists from all over the world who are inspired by New Orleans. And this is our 6th iteration of Prospect. We opened in late October, and we are getting ready for our big closing weekend, which contains so many different venues for programs. We are working with over 50 artists from all over the world. 7 of those artists are local New Orleanians, and over 20 different venues also.
Well, let's take a look at a few. We'll, as I said, give you a little bit of a taste.
So this is Raul de Nieves, actually, who has his work at the well-known Harmony Circle in New Orleans. It's called the Sacred Heart of Hours, Hours with an H, and the trees of yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
Well, what's so interesting, because that is Harmony Circle, which formerly known as Lee Circle, but we'll see in just a moment some actual Mardi Gras type trees. He used beads that he made trees out of too, didn't he?
Yes, so there are several urns that are surrounding the work, which is at the very top of that little pillar. It's not a little pillar, but he's gathered a lot of these beads that he uses for these urns from muses.
There we go.
So
This
Raul
great.
is actually someone who is very inspired by New Orleans' love of folklore, tradition. He connects that with his Mexican roots and love of
Look at that.
the carnivalesque. So in connecting with, you know, Mardi Gras and these beautiful king cakes, Raul is very much inspired by our public traditions of celebration.
All right. And then next up is Phantom Visions. And tell us a little bit about that.
I'm happy to talk about Stephanie Sijuco, a beautiful Californian artist, Filipina American, who was inspired by our San Malo history. San Malo was an old Filipinx fishing village here in New Orleans. As you all know, we've had a very wonderful connection with Filipino people, and that site is also a site of marunage. So San Malo is also has a beautiful legendary story here in New Orleans as an enslaved African who fled the plantation and fled to this beautiful piece of land called San Malo, which is right off of the coast.
And
so we have a beautiful program where participants will actually get to go to the San Malo site
Oh, wow.
on Sunday, February 2nd.
All right. And moving on to Tambourine Cypress.
Yes, Tambourine Cypress from local New Orleanian Ashley Teamer. A celebration of Black masking Indians, gospel music, and jazz. We have a beautiful program that we will be doing with Ashley on January 20th in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And this specific sculpture, as you can see, has wind chimes and tambourines, and the chimes kind of echo a composition by New Orleans flautist, composer, and musician Antoinette Handy, Dr. Antoinette Handy. So there's a lot going on with the tambourine tree.
And then she's also at the Ogden with this sculpture, huh? Yeah.
Yes. Ashley is also at the Ogden, so you can see her work on Lehman Playground and also at the Ogden.
And at the playground, that's along Lafitte Greenway near North Claiborne, I understand.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then we've got, now this is really something, Seeding the Future. It's actually an art installation, isn't it?
Yes, it's an artist installation from a beautiful Vietnamese artist, Hoan Mam My, and it's at the Xavier Art Gallery, and so we're very grateful to be in deep partnership with the Viet, which is a beautiful community center in New Orleans East, and Song also, and Xavier University of Louisiana. So every Wednesday from 12 to 3, there are Vietnamese elders from the East who will come and who will talk about their stories of migration. As we all know, this is the 50th anniversary this year of Vietnamese immigration to New Orleans.
Which I remember well, as it turns out, and has such
really?
an amazing impact on the city, culinarily and in so many other ways too, of course. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, very good. So Prospect, to find out more, and especially the locations of all of what we've talked about too, is a little bit more information. You can go to prospect6.org/venues, and this is up. They're all up until February the 6th. That's correct.
Yes, that is correct. So right before Super Bowl, we're trying to get it in. There's not a lot of time left, but please check out the website for all of our wonderful programs too.
Yeah,
at
and
Merchant
lots
House.
of activities coming up too. Merchant House, that you have got stuff to sell too, right?
Stuff to sell, but
merchandise?
also free maps. If anybody wants to take a look at some of the maps and enjoy, a lot of our venues are free.
That's
All of our
downtown.
programs are free. And you can get this beautiful hat too that was designed by a wonderful artist. So we have also one-of-a-kind unique merch that's designed by our artists.
Wonderful,
So,
thank you. Well, Michael, what a busy time you have had, because you are playing someone who may not be as well known to everybody, but he was really quite a force of nature, Oscar Levant, a wonderful pianist, which means you have to be a pianist in this show, okay?
That's right.
Plus, he was quite the raconteur on talk shows. He was on the Jack Parr show, and that's the setup for what this play is, isn't it?
Yes, it's kind of I consider it like the last appearance on the Jack Parr show, because he had been coming out of rehab, actually, and his wife literally pulls him out of rehab to go do the show, unbeknownst to Jack and the producers of NBC. So that's kind of the event that this takes place in. And at this point, Oscar is a bit of a mess. He's got tics, he's got a hunch, he's addicted to many, many pills. It's a big moment you're catching Oscar in.
Yeah, a very big moment. So that's telling the story, and we have quite the cast. Leslie Castay plays your wife, and of course she's very well known to local audiences. And both you and Leslie have Broadway credits, don't you?
Yeah, actually, Leslie is. We did our. It was my first Broadway show. It was her second or third, I don't know. Guys and Dolls on Broadway. And she came in, I forget how, but I came in from the road company and then I joined it. And actually last summer, she was in New York seeing shows and she saw Goodnight Oscar on Broadway. And she literally called me or texted me, I forget which came first.
And there's Leslie we're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, and
really?
she's like, Michael, you have to see this. You have to do this. So that's kind of how this happened.
She was a bit of a muse here, huh?
Absolutely, without a doubt. She was great.
I love that. But really, what a great cast. And we also have someone, of course, who's playing Jack Parr, Kevin Wheatley. And but it's a really good cast. And Reed Williams, who we've had on our show, is playing George Gershwin.
Yes, he is.
Well, we are very fortunate because we actually have a clip of you playing your best friend, as Oscar's best friend was George Gershwin, interpreting a bit of Rhapsody in Blue. So let's take a look. Michael, what can we say? Congratulations. Wow, we so look forward to seeing the show. Oh my goodness. Yeah, your mama must be very proud of you.
Yeah.
That's quoting Poppy, you just said that. Anyway, thanks for being with us on our show.
Much appreciated.
And we are at WYES. We're very saddened to learn that a member of our Steppin Out family, movie critic, reporter Alfred Richard, passed away quite suddenly due to heart issues. Poppy and I will share a few memories, but before we do, this talented gentleman loved to sing, especially Irish ballads, with longtime friend Danny O'Flaherty, recorded at the Esplanade Studios. Here's a duet called Star of the County Down.
Near Banbridge Town on the county down, one morning last July, from a boring green came a sweet colleen, and she smiled as she passed me by. She looked so neat from her two bare feet to the sheen of her nut brown hair. Such a coaxing elf, sure I shook myself, for I see I was really there. From Bantry Bay up to Derry Quay, and from Galway to Dublin town, no maid I seen like the sweet colleen that I met in the county down. As I onward sped, sure I scratched my head, and I looked with a feeling rare. And it says I to a passer-by, who's the maid with the nut brown hair. He smiled at me and he said, see, that's a gem of Ireland's crown. Young Rosie McCann from the banks of the Bann, she's the star of the county down. From Bantry Bay up to Derry Quay, and from Galway to Dublin town, no maid I seen like a sweet colleen that I met in the county down. At the harvest fair, I'll be surely there, and I'm dressed in my Sunday clothes, with my shoes showing bright and my hat cocked right for a smile from a nut brown rose. No pipe I'll smoke, no horse I'll yoke, till my flowers rust-colored brown, till my smiling bride by my own fireside sits the star of the county down. From Bantry Bay up the Derry Quay, and from Galway to Dublin town, no maid I seen like a sweet Colleen that I met in the county down. From Bantry Bay up the Derry Quay, and from Galway to Dublin town, no maid I seen like a sweet Colleen that I met in the county down. Oh yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Oh, wow. Thanks to Danny O'Flaherty for that incredible video. You can see more of he and Alfred on Danny's Facebook page, and a bit of Alfred history. Of course, he loved the 610 Stompers. He was retired from the video department of the New Orleans public school system. He was a proud Holy Cross alum. He loved being in the 610 Stompers. There you go. Once again, he holding that up at Channel 4. And he was a movie critic, as we said, for both WWL TV and radio. He was a movie extra. And he would also appear in many of Phil Melancon's tribute evenings to the American Songbook. He was such a great guy. He was a sci-fi fan and a friend of the original Chewbacca from Star Wars, Peter Mayhew. His funeral, very sad to say, will be on Saturday at Blessed Trinity Catholic Church. And that's right near Napoleon Avenue on Broad 4230, the old St. Matthias Church. Poppy, he also worked, front of the house at a very famous restaurant.
Peg, you forgot to call him Chocolate Thunder.
That's right. That was his
very
name.
proud of his 610 Stomper name. And that clip just showed the joy that Alfred exuded into the world, which is what he was doing a lot at the front door at Commander's Palace. And anybody who ever saw Alan there or anyplace else knows that joy, and boy, they are missing him there, I can tell you that.
They really are, yes. Sweet. I was talking to him, and then he became more ill, and he died. And it was just, it's so shocking to so many people.
Terrible.
He was such a fun guy, as you said.
I loved him.
The joie de vivre, that's for sure. Well, moving on to your picks.
Okay, Peg. The third annual King Cake and Conversation will be taking place right here at WYES. If we have whetted your appetite for king cake, there's going to be more than a dozen king cakes and king cake libations served Saturday, January 25th from 1 until 3. And of course, you'll be there, Peg.
Yes, I will.
And Errol and Arthur Hardy and even members of the Zulu crew.
That's right. That's right. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you. And now my picks. Alexis Stahl of Second Story Gallery at the New Orleans Healing Center. There she is. She is shown putting up the labels of the names of some of the artists in this new show called NOLA Expressionism. I am seeing Alan Gerson, Jesse Pombuff, and many more. Moira Crone, who curated the show, has a work called The Bench in the show, and Mary Jane Parker's creation is called Interior. There is an opening Saturday from 6 to 9 at the Center, 2372 St. Claude Avenue. The monthly Piety Market, that's on Sunday at Hotel St. Peter and Paul, is back once again from noon to 5. The band called The Rhythm Trio will perform, and that's at 2317 Burgundy, right inside the former gorgeous, gorgeous church. Two of our favorite topics here on Steppin' Out are, of course, New Orleans food and music. And a new local program premiering on WYES next week combines both. Here's a preview of Rhythm Kitchen, which looks at the fusion of food and music.
Rhythm Kitchen really hits home. In the kitchen, there's a definite cadence, if you will. There's a rhythm, there's a beat.
20, please.
There is a lot of noise, but also silence at the same time. Everybody's working together like you would be in a band. kind of with the same goal, to make beautiful music or to create beautiful food.
I'm a culinary historian, and I spend my life looking at cookbooks, and I imagine the music that goes along with that, because I believe in something that Verda Mae Grosvenor, she was a cookbook writer, food historian, that she said in her cookbook about vibration cooking. I believe that New Orleans, our cuisine has a vibration. See,
the music is going to dictate the pace. The music is going to dictate the rhythm of a dish.
And Rhythm Kitchen premieres Monday night at 9 p.m. on WYES and repeats Sunday morning at 10 and then next Wednesday at 10 p.m. The show is produced by Michael Murphy and Celista Eberly, edited by Lenny Delbert, and features incredible musician, of course, Delphia Marsalis. Thank you all so very much, and thank you for watching. Good night.
Programming on WYES is made possible in part by Susie and Pierre G. Villery.
From Masterpiece to Nova, Antiques Roadshow to Agatha Christie.
And of course, Steppin Out and Informed Sources.
We are pleased to support public television.
It's been our passion.
For a lifetime.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation promotes, preserves, and perpetuates music, culture, and heritage through programs, cultural, educational, and economic activities year-round. Learn more at jazzandheritage.org. This program is brought to you in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support education, the arts, and culture in the greater New Orleans area. The Chicory House Bistro at the Rink offers breakfast and lunch daily. And now a new bar upstairs inside the Garden District Bookshop, 2727 Britannia Street at Washington Avenue. Learn more at therinknola.com.